Okay, so I'd like to quickly try to do a brief summary of the academic vocabulary program. Here are a couple slides that talk about the importance of teaching vocabulary. That is a very important indicator in actual academic growth for students. You can also see how socioeconomic status affects vocabulary knowledge. There have been a lot of studies that have done that have indicated this. So basically, as you can see here, like a first grader, it's possible you might have one child in your class that has half of the vocabulary knowledge than another child in your class. And so basically it goes to the importance of teaching vocabulary. You see that it's important for kids to have lots of interactions with words, at least 6 times to have interaction with a word in order to begin to acquire the understanding. And also the importance of mental images, and not only just your mental images or images you pull off of Google Images, but the kids creating those mental images as they're developing the understanding for themselves. It's a very important part of this process, is that this becomes their meaning, their understanding of the word. This is the text that they've used to base this program on. This is something that we have access to if you would like to read more. So here it is. Here's how you do it. Here's the 6-step process for teaching academic vocabulary. And you can pause this and have a look at it closely if you would like to, but we're going to go through and talk about each step. So as you can see, the step 1, the first step that we have to do here is provide a description, explanation, or example of the new term. But step 2 is to ask students to restate the description, explanation, or example. So this is where they're sort of developing their own definition of this. Okay, they can record that in their Frayer model. Journal, notebook, turn and share, partner, restate in a new context. Okay. You might need to provide some scaffolds, some sentence frames, or maybe they need to use their own native language. The point is just to get them developing the meaning. And step 3 is having them construct a picture, or symbol, or a graphic. So we're modeling this, we modeled this. This is a great way, fun way for students to share their thinking as well. You can maybe even have them look for pictures in like old magazines, create their own picture, just any way to attach a visual image to the new meaning of the new word. But I just like having them sketch it. It's so important as they're doing their sketch to be using the word that you're trying to learn. Okay, as they're sketching, maybe you're floating around the room. Can you tell me about your picture? Make sure, and if they're telling you, make sure to redirect them to use that new word. So step 4 is all about activities, getting the kids engaged in using the newly acquired vocabulary. And there's a resource for that, and it's called the Learning Vocabulary, the Playbook. So this is something that you have access to, and you can see here it's got a nice little organization here. It's all organized into partner activities, quick activities, lining up, workstations, whole group, small group, thinking maps, and independent. So it's full of lots of fun activities. So step 5 in this process is just actually more interaction, in my opinion, discussing it using think, pair, share, sentence stems, structured conversations, giving them lots of opportunities to use this in authentic ways. And finally, playing games, having fun with this. Games are a great way to use language, and again, you can use the playbook. The fluency rings, that's another resource, and it's just like, this is particularly good for K2, which is like gives them different ways to act out reading, funny ways to do that, Kahoot. Also, if you have a smart interactive whiteboard, I think there's a lot of stuff in a library there that I've been told. I don't have the whiteboard in my room, so I'm not sure. The method for teaching the vocabulary is called, based on the Frayer model, patata, of teaching vocabulary. Whereas you can see here, we've got the word, a description, space for illustration, or example and a non-example, or like a word association, synonyms, antonyms, that type of thing. So I've chosen a word from the social studies academic list, and the word is impact. So I'd like to model for you how you can begin to fill out the Frayer model with your students. So I'm going to pretend that I'm modeling this for students. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of the word impact and see if you can help me come up with a definition for what this word means. LeBron James always has an impact on whatever basketball team he plays for. His impact is so large that he's won NBA championships with many different teams. What do we think the word impact means? And this is where they would, maybe you have them turn and tell, maybe they would each write a definition and you can randomly call on a student to provide what they think the definition is. So we're just brainstorming right now based on this example. I'm trying to pick an example of something that they can relate to. So let's pretend the students have come up with this definition and I have helped guide them as well. To have an effect on an outcome, to change a game. So now once that we've gotten the definition, we've given an example, the students seem to understand. Maybe we've gone around the room randomly to assess their understanding and given chance to clear up any clarifications. We can go on to having them do an illustration. Okay, I've got the synonyms and antonyms already in there, but the next step is going to be the illustration. And illustrations don't have to be perfect. And don't make fun of your illustration. This is my illustration. If a kid wants to draw stick figures, let them draw stick figures. If they're great artists, they're great artists. But the point is just to associate the meaning with an image, okay? And so we just all do the best we can. So here's my image, okay? Here's LeBron, and he's slam dunking on this guy, and here's his teammate going, oh my goodness, look at the impact LeBron has on my team. And this guy's like, I can't overcome the impact of LeBron James on the other team. So I'm going to want to talk about my picture, and I'm going to want to use the word impact as much as I can when I'm talking about it. Okay, and then it goes to students. They can share describe their sketches, and you may want to put like a sentence frame up on the board, a specific sentence frame that's going to have the word impact on there. My drawing illustrates impact. Because, and then they can describe or something like that. Next, you want to do like word associations. Okay, so then you're going to be making those kind of cross meaning references. Okay, so we've got like synonyms and antonyms where you could do likes or not like, just depending on whatever level you need. And obviously, as we're doing this, I've just you would want to gather these from the students or have students work together to create these meanings, but these are just some that I jotted down. But then finally, you're going to want to come down and have the students create a sentence. They're going to be able to show that they can use it in context. So this was my sentence. LeBron James has an impact on his basketball team. And here's some teacher examples. You can see how the teacher here's got content objective, language objectives, and then they have each content color coordinated to go with the academic vocabulary that they're going. Here are the color coding guidelines. Here's the actual way that they're organizing their academic vocabulary cards. You can see the ones over like here, the ones that they're currently working with that align with their objectives, and they're color coordinated. And then this teacher's keeping a ring of the ones that they've already done, so the students could go back and re-reference those if they need to. You can notice all the student sort of interaction or the teachers writing what the students are saying on these cards so that it will help the students remember. This is another way teachers use the lockers to sort of organize where they're putting the words. And you can see again, they're organizing them here with the colors. Ciencias matemáticas, artes del lenguaje. And here are the teachers using, magnets to put on the board to show how they're doing a thinking map. So they're putting their academic vocabulary word in here, and then she's using this thinking map probably to write down the student interactions to help them contextualize the meaning of this word. And here's an example of using the academic vocabulary words with anchor charts. So these can be in your room. You can integrate the academic vocabulary words in with your anchor charts. And you can see here, this is fantastic, how the students have drawn pictures and labeled and just made them their own. I think this one was fun. Put the words here on the door. It's called touch and talk. Maybe as the students are coming in the morning and you're greeting them, the door's open, you can encourage them to touch a word, read the word, and talk about the word. They can use it in a sentence, give the definition, talk what they remember about it. Okay, it's a great way to continue to interact with that vocabulary. It could be coming in, it could be going out, sometime during the day, anything. I just think this is a fun way to have it there and to interact with it. Here's an example of really getting a lot in a small amount of space. You can see that it's all color coordinated with the content area, and you can also see over here that they're using it with real objects, so integrating it in with real objects in the classroom. And again, you can notice here all of the student interaction on the cards. At first look, this may look like what is going on there, but what it is a authentic interactive student word wall. So you've got all the words up here, right? And then this is the real student work. Maybe we can't really see what this is, but I'm sure this writing and this illustration is connected to mixture and has that word in there, and thermal energy and refraction. So the students, when they see that, they're going to know that's their work. That's going to become more meaningful to them. And so this is a good example of using the student work in collaboration with these word walls. So just to sum up, here again are the 6 steps to this process, but not to forget that this should be this should be an engaging process. This should be a process that the students want to be motivated to participate in. So just remember, what's important, I think, to remember is that we're trying to guide the students to create meaning with these academic vocabulary words. We're not just giving them, like, here's the definition. We're wanting them to contextualize it to their own experience so that it's more meaningful to them. So you have to start by giving them an idea and then getting them to sort of connect their ideas to the ideas that we're sharing, illustrate it with a picture so then it becomes more meaningful through that way, and then just doing activities and using the word, remembering it takes at least 6 times using a word to be able to understand that word. So lots of interaction with these words. Also, the recommendation is to not do more than 5 academic vocabulary words a week. So you don't want to like overwhelm with too much. You just want to keep it small and meaningful, and you can add to it as you go each week. So that would be the nutshell version of this, I guess. So to show you that language learning can be fun, I'll leave you with a YouTube clip.
Announced a new Spanish version of our app, Heads Up, and who better to play than the queen of Spanish language, Sofia Vergara. And so here's how it's going to work. Normally, Spanish people will play, and they guess it very easily. Okay. I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand it. But all the clues are in Spanish, and normally you can't speak. You'd have to act it out. Okay. But because it's Spanish and I don't understand it...
So it's safe for me to say.
You say Spanish, but act it out so I can try to guess what you're acting out, and then I'll learn Spanish that way.
Okay.
You know?
Montar a caballo.
Horse riding.
Yeah.
Montar a caballo.
She won.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
Oh, sexy. Flirting.
Coquetear,
yes?
sí.
Yeah, okay. Coquetear.
Abrir una botella de champaña.
Champagne. Popping the cork.
Yes,
okay.
abrir una botella de champaña. Yeah. Chupar un chupete.
Sucking your thumb. Sucking your thumb. A lollipop. Sucking your thumb. I have no idea. Let's not. Let's. I'm gonna pass. I don't want
the baby thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Putting on lipstick. Putting on makeup.
Maquillarse.
Okay.
Sí. Sonámbulo.
Yell at me. Solambo. Sleeping. Sleepwalking. Yes.
Ganaste.
Yeah. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
What do you win?